Hello, my dear friend. This is Louise, and I'm so happy you've joined me today. There's no accident that you're here right now, listening to these words. The universe has a wonderful way of bringing us exactly what we need at the perfect time. Take a deep breath with me now. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel your shoulders relax. That's right. You're exactly where you need to be. Today, we're going to talk about something that touches so many of us: procrastination. That habit of putting things off, of finding 100 other things to do instead of the one thing we know we should be doing. I understand this pattern so well, and I want you to know that if you've been struggling with procrastination, you're not alone. You're not broken, and there is nothing wrong with you. Many people think of procrastination as a sign of laziness or a lack of willpower. But I've found in my many years of working with people that it's almost always something much deeper. It's often a sign that we're protecting ourselves in some way, perhaps from fear of failure, or fear of success, or even fear of being seen. Procrastination is really a messenger, bringing us important information about what's happening inside our hearts and minds. I want to share something personal with you. Many people see me as someone who has it all together, who writes books and helps others. But there was a time in my life when I struggled terribly with procrastination. Before I discovered the power of loving thoughts, I would put off writing or creating new workshops. I would clean my house instead, or reorganize my closet. Anything but sit down and do the work that I knew would help others. What I discovered was that my procrastination was rooted in fear. Fear that what I created wouldn't be good enough. Fear that I would be judged. Fear that I didn't really have anything valuable to say. Once I began to look at these fears with love and understanding, my procrastination began to melt away. Not overnight. Healing rarely happens in an instant, but day by day, as I changed my thoughts and treated myself with greater kindness. That's what I want for you too. I want you to discover how to move beyond procrastination, not through harsh self-discipline or criticism, but through love, understanding, and gentle persistence. When we approach our challenges with love, true and lasting change becomes not just possible, but natural. Over our time together, I'm going to guide you through understanding what's really behind your procrastination patterns. We'll explore the thoughts and beliefs that may be holding you back, and I'll share specific practices and affirmations that have helped thousands of people move from delay and avoidance to peaceful, joyful action. This isn't about pushing yourself harder or adding more pressure to your life. It's about releasing the resistance that makes certain tasks feel so difficult. It's about discovering the freedom that comes when you approach your responsibilities with love instead of fear. Remember, my dear one, that you are worthy of a life filled with accomplishment and peace. You deserve to feel the satisfaction of completing what matters to you. And you have the power within you right now to transform your relationship with procrastination. Let's begin this journey with open hearts and minds, knowing that positive change is not just possible, it's already beginning within you as you listen to these words. Now let's look more deeply at what procrastination really is. In our society, we often see procrastination as a character flaw, a sign that someone is lazy or lacks discipline. But I've found that this view only makes the problem worse. When we judge ourselves harshly for procrastinating, we add layers of guilt and shame that make it even harder to take action. The truth is that procrastination is a messenger. It's trying to tell us something important about what's happening inside us. When we put something off repeatedly, it's not because we're bad or weak. It's because there's an emotional need that isn't being met, or a fear that hasn't been addressed. Think about it like this. If your car's oil light came on, you wouldn't say, "Oh, that light is so annoying and broken. I hate that light." You would understand that the light is doing its job by alerting you to a problem that needs attention. Procrastination works the same way. It's alerting you to something inside that needs your loving attention. So instead of beating yourself up for procrastinating, I invite you to get curious. Ask yourself gently, what is my procrastination trying to tell me? What am I afraid might happen if I do this task? What am I feeling when I think about doing it? This compassionate curiosity is the first step toward real change. There are many different emotions that can fuel procrastination, and understanding which ones are driving your particular pattern can be incredibly freeing. Let's explore some of the most common emotional roots. Fear of failure is a big one. Many of us put things off because we're afraid we won't do them well enough. We think, if I try and fail, I'll prove that I'm not good enough. So instead of risking failure, we don't try at all. The problem, of course, is that not trying guarantees we won't succeed. Fear of success can be just as powerful. Sometimes we procrastinate because deep down, we're afraid of what might happen if we do succeed. Success might mean more responsibility, more visibility, or changes in our relationships with others. These unknowns can feel scary, even if the changes would be positive. Perfectionism is another common root. When we believe that something must be done perfectly or not at all, we set an impossible standard. No wonder we put it off. The weight of perfectionism can be paralyzing. Overwhelm often triggers procrastination too. When a task feels too big or complex, our minds can shut down in response. This is actually a protective mechanism. Our brains are trying to shield us from what feels like too much to handle. And sometimes, procrastination stems from a disconnection from our why. When we don't feel a meaningful connection to the purpose behind a task, it's hard to find the motivation to do it. I want you to know that whatever emotional roots are feeding your procrastination, they make perfect sense. Your mind is trying to protect you in the only way it knows how. There's wisdom in your procrastination, even if the pattern itself has outstayed its welcome in your life. Our bodies hold so much wisdom, and they're always communicating with us if we learn to listen. When it comes to procrastination, our physical experiences can give us important clues about what's really going on. Have you noticed what happens in your body when you think about a task you've been putting off? You might feel a heaviness in your chest, a tightening in your throat, a knot in your stomach, or tension in your shoulders. These physical sensations are telling you something important about your emotional relationship with the task. Just as our thoughts affect our bodies, our physical state affects our ability to take action. When we're tired, hungry, or tense, tasks naturally feel harder. This is why self-care isn't selfish. It's a necessary foundation for being able to do what matters to us. I've found that many people who struggle with procrastination are actually pushing themselves too hard in general. They expect themselves to be productive all the time without adequate rest or nourishment. The body eventually rebels against this pressure, and procrastination becomes a way of forcing the rest that the person isn't giving themselves willingly. This mind-body connection works in positive ways too. When we treat our bodies with love and care, we create the physical conditions that make action easier. Simple practices like getting enough sleep, moving our bodies in ways that feel good, drinking plenty of water, and eating nourishing foods can dramatically reduce procrastination. And here's something wonderful to remember. Small changes in how you hold your body can create immediate shifts in how you feel. If you're procrastinating, try standing up tall, putting your shoulders back, and lifting your chin slightly. Take a few deep breaths in this posture. You may be surprised at how this simple change can begin to shift your energy and readiness for action. Your body is your ally in overcoming procrastination. By listening to its wisdom and treating it with love, you create a foundation for moving forward with greater ease. The words we speak to ourselves are incredibly powerful. They're like seeds we plant in the garden of our minds, and they grow into the experiences of our lives. When it comes to procrastination, our self-talk can either keep us stuck or help us move forward with joy and ease. Most of us have an inner critic, that voice that tells us we're not doing enough, not trying hard enough, not good enough in some way. This voice often gets louder when we're procrastinating. It says things like, "You're so lazy. Why can't you just do it? Everyone else seems to manage just fine. What's wrong with you?" The problem is that this kind of harsh self-talk doesn't motivate us. It paralyzes us. When we speak to ourselves with criticism and judgment, we activate the fear center in our brains. Our bodies respond as if we're under attack. And in that state, creative thinking and focused action become nearly impossible. Notice your self-talk around tasks you tend to put off. What do you say to yourself when you think about doing them? What do you say to yourself when you don't do them? These words are shaping your experience and either reinforcing or potentially releasing your procrastination pattern. There are several specific thought patterns that tend to fuel procrastination. Learning to recognize them is the first step to changing them. All or nothing thinking is a big one. This is when we tell ourselves that if we can't do something perfectly or completely, there's no point in doing it at all. If I can't clean the whole house, why bother with just one room? This kind of thinking ignores the value of small steps and partial progress. Catastrophizing is another common pattern. This is when we imagine the worst possible outcome of taking action. If I start this project and it doesn't go well, my boss will think I'm incompetent. I might lose my job. And then how will I pay my bills? These mental disasters are rarely realistic, but they feel very real and scary in our minds. Labeling is when we define ourselves by our behaviors. I didn't finish that report on time. I'm such a failure. This kind of self-labeling is not only painful, it also makes change harder, because we start to see procrastination as a fixed part of who we are rather than a behavior that can change. Should statements put enormous pressure on us. I should be able to do this easily. I should have finished this already. I should want to do this. These shoulds create a gap between reality and our expectations. and that gap is filled with guilt and shame. Mind reading happens when we assume we know what others are thinking about us. Everyone will think I'm incompetent if I ask for help or more time. This fear of others' judgments can keep us stuck in avoidance patterns. Take a moment to reflect on which of these thought patterns might be showing up in your own experience with procrastination. Recognizing them doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It means you're becoming more aware, and awareness is the beginning of positive change. Now that we've looked at how negative self-talk can keep us stuck, let's explore the transformative power of loving language. When we speak to ourselves with kindness and encouragement, we create an inner environment where action feels safer and more inviting. Imagine you have a small child who is afraid to try riding a bike. Would you stand over them yelling, "What's wrong with you? Everyone else can ride a bike. You're being so lazy and difficult right now"? Of course not. You would understand their fear, offer encouragement, and support them with patience as they learn. You deserve that same loving treatment from yourself. Your procrastination is not a character flaw. It's just a habit that developed for reasons that made sense at some point in your life. And with love and understanding, it can change. What would it be like to speak to yourself about your procrastination with the compassion you would offer to a dear friend or a child? Instead of, "I'm so lazy," you might say, "I notice I'm having trouble getting started, and that's okay. What small step would feel manageable right now?" Instead of, "I always put things off until the last minute," you might say, "I've had a pattern of waiting until deadlines are close, but I'm learning new ways to approach my tasks with more ease." Instead of, "I should have done this already," you might say, "I'm choosing to focus on what I can do now, not what I didn't do before." This shift to loving language doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice and gentle persistence. But each time you catch yourself in negative self-talk and choose more loving words instead, you're rewiring your brain for more positive action patterns. Try placing your hand on your heart as you speak to yourself kindly. This physical connection helps your body and mind absorb the loving words more deeply. Feel the warmth of your hand and let it remind you that you are worthy of your own kindness. Remember, the way you speak to yourself matters tremendously. Your words are either building bridges to the actions you want to take or creating walls that keep you stuck. Choose words that build bridges of possibility, support, and self-trust. In this loving inner environment, procrastination begins to lose its grip, and moving forward starts to feel not just possible, but natural. My dear one, now we come to a truly transformative practice, forgiveness. So many of us carry heavy burdens of guilt and shame around our procrastination habits. We beat ourselves up for the times we've waited until the last minute, the deadlines we've missed, the opportunities we've let slip by because we couldn't get started. This weight of self-judgment only makes it harder to break free from procrastination. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks these chains of the past. When I talk about forgiveness, I don't mean pretending that everything was perfect or that procrastination hasn't caused difficulties in your life. True forgiveness is about acknowledging what happened and then choosing to release the emotional charge around it so you can move forward unburdened. Take a moment now to think about your history with procrastination. Perhaps you remember specific instances that still make you cringe. the important email you didn't send, the project you rushed to finish, the times others were disappointed in you. As these memories arise, notice the feelings they bring up in your body. There might be a heaviness in your chest, a tightness in your throat, or a sinking feeling in your stomach. Now, place your hand gently over your heart and say to yourself, I forgive myself for all the times I've procrastinated. I was doing the best I could with the awareness and tools I had at the time. I release the burden of past procrastination and choose to move forward with new understanding and compassion. Feel the warmth of your hand on your heart as you say these words. You might need to repeat this forgiveness practice many times before it feels complete. That's perfectly normal. Forgiveness isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of release and renewal. An important part of forgiveness is recognizing that your procrastination has actually been trying to serve you in some way. It hasn't been a meaningless bad habit. It's been a strategy your mind developed to meet certain needs or protect you from certain fears. Perhaps procrastination has been your mind's way of protecting you from the possibility of failure. If you don't try, you can't fail. And so procrastination became a shield against the pain of potential disappointment or rejection. Or maybe procrastination has been a way of creating excitement and intensity. Some people find they can only focus when a deadline is looming, and the adrenaline rush of last-minute work gives them energy they can't seem to access otherwise. For others, procrastination might have been a form of rebellion against expectations that felt overwhelming or unfair. Putting things off became a way of saying, you can't control me completely. I still have some choice here. Take a moment to reflect gently on what purpose procrastination might have been serving in your life. What need was it trying to meet? What pain was it trying to help you avoid? When you can see the protective intention behind your procrastination, it becomes easier to forgive yourself. You can recognize that this pattern developed for a reason, and that with your growing awareness, you can now find healthier ways to meet those same needs. Say to yourself, I understand that my procrastination has been trying to help me in its own way. I honor the protective intention behind this pattern. Now I choose to find new ways to meet my needs that support my highest good. Guilt and shame are two of the heaviest burdens we carry around procrastination, and they make change much more difficult. Guilt tells us, you did something bad, while shame goes deeper and says, you are bad. Neither of these perspectives serves your growth or happiness. The truth is that procrastination is just a habit, a pattern of behavior that you learned at some point in your life. It doesn't define who you are or what you're capable of. And just as you learned this pattern, you can learn new ones. Right now, I invite you to take a deep breath and make a conscious choice to release the guilt and shame you've been carrying around procrastination. Say to yourself, I now release all guilt and shame associated with my past procrastination. I am not my habits. I am a growing, evolving being who is learning new ways of being in the world. Feel the lightness that comes with this release. Notice how much more energy you have available when you're not weighed down by these heavy emotions. This energy is now free to support the positive changes you want to make. Remember, my dear one, that you always have the power to begin again. Each moment offers a fresh start, a new opportunity to choose differently. Your past procrastination doesn't determine your future. Your present choices do. And in this moment, you're choosing awareness, compassion, and growth. Now that we've released some of the old patterns and heavy emotions around procrastination, we can begin to plant new seeds in the garden of your mind. This is where affirmations become such powerful tools for transformation. Affirmations are positive statements that help reprogram your subconscious mind. When you repeat them regularly with feeling and belief, they begin to replace the negative thought patterns that have been fueling your procrastination. I've seen thousands of people transform their lives by changing their thoughts, one affirmation at a time. Our minds are remarkably responsive to the words we feed them. When you begin to speak words of productivity, ease, and confidence to yourself, your mind gradually accepts these new patterns as truth. The key to effective affirmations is to state them in the present tense, as if what you desire is already happening. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what is currently true and what you vividly imagine to be true. When you consistently affirm a new reality, your subconscious begins to align your feelings and actions with that vision. Here are some affirmations that can help shift your relationship with procrastination. I take action with ease and joy. I complete tasks in a timely manner. I am focused and productive. I enjoy the process of making progress. I begin my work with confidence and clarity. Each small step I take brings me satisfaction. I am becoming more efficient every day. I trust my ability to complete what matters to me. Choose one or two of these that resonate most strongly with you, or create your own that address your specific procrastination challenges. Write them down where you'll see them regularly, on sticky notes on your mirror, as the background on your phone, or in a journal you use daily. While the general affirmations I shared can be powerful, creating personalized affirmations that speak directly to your unique situation can be even more effective. Let me guide you through the process of creating affirmations that will work specifically for you. First, identify the particular thought patterns that contribute to your procrastination. For example, you might catch yourself thinking, "This is too hard. I don't have enough time. I'm not good at this kind of work. I'll never get it all done." Next, create affirmations that directly counter these negative thoughts. If you think this is too hard, your personalized affirmation might be, "I break complex tasks into manageable steps that feel easy and doable." If you think, "I don't have enough time," your affirmation could be, "I have exactly the right amount of time for what truly matters. I use my time wisely and efficiently." For "I'm not good at this kind of work," try, "I am developing my skills and becoming more confident with each step I take." And for "I'll never get it all done," you might affirm, "I focus on progress, not perfection. Each completed step brings me satisfaction and momentum." The most effective affirmations feel both positive and believable. If an affirmation feels too far from your current reality, your mind will reject it as false. In that case, try softening the language to make it more acceptable to your current belief system. For example, if "I am highly productive" feels like too big a leap from your current experience, you might try, "I am becoming more productive each day," or "I am open to experiencing greater productivity in my life." Remember that affirmations work gradually over time. Don't expect instant miracles, but do expect subtle shifts that build into significant changes as you practice consistently. 2 key principles make affirmations most effective: using present tense and positive language. Let me explain why these matter so much. Present tense is essential because your subconscious mind operates in the now. When you say, "I will be organized," or "I'm going to stop procrastinating," you're actually affirming that organization and prompt action are in your future, not your present. This subtly reinforces the very gap you're trying to close. Instead, phrase your affirmations as if what you desire is already happening. I am organized. I take action promptly. Even if these statements don't feel completely true yet, by affirming them in the present tense, you're instructing your subconscious to align with this new reality. Positive language is equally important. Your mind processes images, not negations. When you say, "I don't procrastinate," your mind focuses on the word procrastinate and actually strengthens that neural pathway. It's like saying, "Don't think of a pink elephant." The very instruction brings the pink elephant to mind. Instead, state what you do want rather than what you don't want. I take timely action. I follow through on my commitments. I enjoy the feeling of completing tasks. These positive statements create clear images for your mind to work with. Practice your affirmations at least twice daily. Morning and evening are ideal times when your mind is more receptive. Say them out loud if possible, with feeling and conviction. You might look in the mirror as you speak them, making eye contact with yourself to deepen the impact. If you notice resistance arising, that inner voice that says, "That's not true," or "Who are you kidding?" don't fight it. Simply acknowledge it with compassion. I understand there's part of me that doesn't believe this yet, and that's okay. I'm planting new seeds that will grow with time and care. With patience and persistence, these new thought patterns will gradually replace the old ones that have been feeding your procrastination. Your mind is amazingly adaptable, and it responds to the consistent messages you give it. Feed it words of capability, confidence, and action, and watch how your experience begins to change. We've been focusing a lot on thoughts and emotions, but our bodies hold tremendous wisdom and power when it comes to overcoming procrastination. Physical movement is one of the quickest ways to shift stuck energy and create momentum. When you notice yourself procrastinating, your body is often in a state of contraction or stagnation. You might be hunched over, breathing shallowly, or feeling heavy and immobile. This physical state both reflects and reinforces your mental resistance to taking action. One of the simplest and most effective ways to break through procrastination is to change your physical state. Stand up, stretch your arms overhead, and take a few deep breaths. Feel how this small movement already begins to shift your energy. Walking is particularly powerful for dissolving procrastination. Even a 5-minute walk can completely change your perspective and readiness for action. As you walk, imagine that with each step, you're walking away from delay and toward purposeful action. Dancing is another wonderful way to shift stuck energy. Put on music that energizes you and allow your body to move freely for a few minutes. Don't worry about looking good. This isn't a performance. It's about liberating the life force in your body that will fuel your productive action. Simple stretching can also be remarkably effective. Try reaching your arms up toward the ceiling, then folding forward to touch your toes, or as far down as is comfortable. Hold for a few breaths, then slowly roll back up. This forward and backward movement symbolizes flexibility and can help you feel more adaptable in approaching your tasks. Remember that your body and mind are not separate. They're parts of one integrated system. When you change your physical state, you inevitably change your mental and emotional state as well. Use this wisdom to your advantage when procrastination has you in its grip. Your breath is a powerful tool that's always available to you. Conscious breathing can quickly shift you out of the anxiety or avoidance that feeds procrastination and into a state of calm focus where taking action feels natural and easy. When we procrastinate, our breathing often becomes shallow and constricted. This triggers the stress response in our bodies, making clear thinking and decisive action more difficult. By changing your breathing pattern, you can signal to your nervous system that you're safe and capable of moving forward. Try this simple breathing practice when you notice yourself putting something off. Place one hand on your belly and one on your chest. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, feeling your belly expand against your hand. Hold for a moment, then exhale slowly through your mouth, allowing your belly to fall. Repeat this deep breathing for at least 6 cycles. This belly breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that supports clear thinking and focused action. From this calmer state, it's much easier to begin the task you've been avoiding. For an even more powerful practice, try what I call courage breathing. As you inhale, silently say to yourself, "I breathe in courage and clarity." As you exhale, say, "I release doubt and delay." Feel the qualities of courage and clarity filling your body with each breath, while doubt and hesitation flow out with each exhale. Your breath connects your conscious and unconscious mind, making it a perfect bridge for introducing new patterns. Use it intentionally throughout your day, especially when you notice procrastination arising. Taking good care of your physical body creates the foundation for overcoming procrastination. When your body is well nourished, rested, and energized, tasks that once felt overwhelming become much more manageable. Many people don't realize how much their physical state affects their ability to take action. If you're tired, hungry, dehydrated, or tense, even simple tasks can feel impossibly difficult. This isn't weakness or laziness. It's your body telling you that its basic needs must be met before it can perform at its best. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day. Dehydration can cause fatigue and mental fog that make procrastination more likely. Keep a water bottle within reach and sip regularly. Eat foods that give you steady, sustainable energy rather than quick bursts followed by crashes. Fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and lean proteins support clear thinking and consistent energy. Notice how different foods affect your motivation and focus, and choose accordingly. Regular physical activity is essential for maintaining the energy and mood that support productive action. This doesn't mean you need an intense workout every day. Even gentle movement like walking, stretching, or dancing for 15 to 20 minutes can make a significant difference in how easily you can overcome procrastination. Adequate sleep might be the most important physical foundation of all. When you're sleep deprived, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and self-control, doesn't function optimally. This makes procrastination almost inevitable. Prioritize getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night, and you'll find your ability to take timely action naturally improves. Pay attention also to your environment. A cluttered, chaotic space can drain your energy and make focusing difficult. Take a few minutes to tidy your workspace before beginning a task. This simple act not only creates a more supportive physical environment, but also serves as a gentle transition into the work itself. Remember that caring for your physical body isn't a luxury or something to do after all your work is done. It's an essential foundation for productive, joyful action. When you honor your body's needs, you create the conditions where procrastination naturally diminishes and taking action feels easier and more natural. Mirror work is one of the most powerful tools I've discovered in my many years of helping people heal and transform their lives. There's something magical that happens when you look into your own eyes with love and speak truth to yourself. The mirror reflects back not just your physical appearance, but the essence of who you truly are. When it comes to procrastination, mirror work can be especially transformative because it brings you face to face with both your resistance and your potential. It's much harder to avoid yourself when you're looking directly into your own eyes. The mirror cuts through excuses and defenses, creating a space of honesty and possibility. Many people feel uncomfortable when they first try mirror work. This is completely normal. We're not used to looking at ourselves with sustained attention and love. We're more accustomed to quick glances to check our appearance, often with criticism rather than compassion. But I promise you that with practice, mirror work becomes not just comfortable, but deeply nurturing and empowering. The power of mirror work lies in its directness. When you speak affirmations while looking into your own eyes, you're communicating directly with your subconscious mind. You're bypassing the analytical, critical part of your mind that might otherwise reject positive messages. This creates a more direct pathway for positive change. Let me guide you through a simple yet powerful mirror work practice specifically designed to help with procrastination. You'll need a mirror where you can see your face clearly and a few minutes of uninterrupted time. First, find a private, comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. Stand or sit in front of your mirror with your back straight, but not rigid. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Now, look into your own eyes. Not at your hair, your skin, or any other feature, just gently meet your own gaze. As you look into your eyes, offer yourself a smile. It might feel forced at first, but do it anyway. A smile, even when it begins as deliberate, sends signals to your brain that help shift your emotional state toward openness and receptivity. Now, still looking into your eyes, say your name. Hello, your name. Notice how it feels to greet yourself this way. There might be awkwardness, tenderness, amusement, or other emotions. Whatever arises, simply acknowledge it with kindness. Next, speak this truth to yourself. Your name, I love you, and I'm ready to listen to what you need. Pause after saying this, allowing yourself to really feel these words. Your eyes might tear up, or you might feel resistance. Both responses are perfectly okay. Now ask yourself gently, what makes it hard for you to begin the specific task you've been procrastinating on? Listen for the answer that arises within you. It might come as a thought, a feeling, an image, or a physical sensation. Whatever form it takes, receive it with compassion, not judgment. After listening, speak to yourself again. Your name. I understand that. Reflect back what you heard, felt. That makes perfect sense. And I want you to know that you are capable and worthy of moving forward. I believe in you. Now offer yourself this affirmation, speaking slowly and with conviction. I am ready to take one small step forward now. I embrace action with love and ease. Each step I take builds my confidence and joy. As you say these words, really feel their truth in your body. Imagine these positive messages sinking into your cells, rewiring your relationship with action and productivity. Complete your mirror work by placing your hand on your heart and saying, "Thank you for this time together. I commit to supporting you with kindness and understanding as you move forward." This entire practice might take just 5 to 10 minutes, but its impact can be profound. I recommend doing it daily for at least 21 days to begin establishing new neural pathways around taking action. As you practice mirror work, you'll almost certainly encounter resistance. This resistance is not your enemy. It's simply a part of you that's afraid of change, even positive change. When resistance arises during mirror work, it's actually a sign that you're making contact with deeper layers of yourself where transformation is possible. You might experience resistance as an urge to laugh or make jokes, to criticize your appearance, to feel angry or tearful, or simply to look away from your own gaze. You might hear an inner voice saying things like, "This is silly," or "Who do you think you're fooling?" or "This will never work for you." When resistance shows up, the key is to acknowledge it with kindness, rather than fighting it or giving in to it. You might say to your reflection, "I see that there's some resistance here, and that's perfectly okay. Part of me is uncomfortable with this new way of relating to myself, and I honor that discomfort. I'm going to continue gently anyway, because I know that growth often feels uncomfortable at first." Sometimes resistance takes the form of forgetting to do your mirror work or suddenly feeling too busy for it. If you notice this happening, it's a clear sign that the work is touching something important. In these moments, recommit to the practice with even greater gentleness, perhaps starting with just 60 seconds of mirror time to rebuild the habit. If tears come during mirror work, allow them to flow. Tears are often a sign of release and healing. They might indicate that you're letting go of old pain around feeling inadequate or overwhelmed, or that you're finally offering yourself the compassion you've needed for a long time. When strong emotions arise, place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Say to yourself, "I'm right here with you through all of your feelings. You're safe to feel whatever is coming up." Remember that resistance doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Quite the opposite. It means you're making contact with parts of yourself that have been avoiding change. By meeting this resistance with understanding rather than judgment, you create space for those parts to gradually relax their grip, allowing new patterns of thought and action to emerge. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to overcome procrastination is attempting to make dramatic changes all at once. They decide they'll suddenly become someone who works efficiently for hours, completes everything ahead of schedule, and never procrastinates again. This all or nothing approach almost always leads to disappointment and reinforces the procrastination pattern. The path to lasting change is not through giant leaps, but through tiny, consistent steps taken with love. When you break your tasks into very small pieces, you bypass the overwhelm that triggers procrastination. Each small step completed builds momentum and confidence for the next one. I want you to think about something you've been putting off. Now ask yourself, what is the smallest possible step I could take toward this? What would feel almost ridiculously easy? This might be sending a single email, writing one paragraph, making one phone call, or even just opening the document you need to work on. The key is to make this first step so small that it feels virtually impossible to fail at it. When a step feels doable, you're much more likely to take it. And once you're in motion, it's easier to stay in motion. For example, if you've been procrastinating on cleaning your home, don't set out to clean the entire house in one day. Instead, commit to cleaning just one counter or one small section of a room. If you've been putting off writing a report, don't try to write the whole thing at once. Set a goal of writing just 3 sentences or working for just 5 minutes. Remember that progress is not measured by how big your steps are, but by whether you're moving in the direction you want to go. Each tiny step completed is a victory worth celebrating, and each celebration reinforces your new identity as someone who takes action. Speaking of celebration, this is one of the most overlooked aspects of overcoming procrastination. Most people focus all their attention on what hasn't been done yet, or on how much is still left to do. This creates a perpetual feeling of being behind or inadequate, which feeds right back into procrastination. Instead, I invite you to become a master of celebrating your progress, no matter how small it might seem. Your brain responds powerfully to celebration. When you genuinely celebrate completing a step, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and learning. This creates a positive feedback loop that makes you want to take more action. The trick is to celebrate immediately after taking action, not waiting until you've completed the entire project. Did you work for 10 minutes on that task you've been avoiding? Celebrate. Did you make that difficult phone call? Celebrate. Did you sort through one stack of papers? Celebrate. Your celebration doesn't need to be elaborate. It might be as simple as saying to yourself, "Yes, I did it," with genuine enthusiasm, doing a little dance in your chair, or taking a moment to feel the satisfaction of having taken action. The key is that the celebration is authentic and happens right after the action. Many people feel silly celebrating small steps, or they believe they don't deserve celebration until they've done something really significant. But this approach ignores how behavior change actually works. Small wins acknowledged and celebrated build the foundation for bigger achievements. Make a commitment right now to celebrate every single step you take toward overcoming procrastination. Become your own biggest cheerleader. The positive energy of celebration will make taking the next step feel more inviting and joyful. Routines are powerful allies in overcoming procrastination because they reduce the amount of decision-making energy required to take action. When something is part of your routine, you don't have to decide whether to do it each time. You just do it because it's what you do at that time or in that situation. The key to creating effective routines is to make them gentle and realistic. Many people create overly ambitious routines that they can't sustain, which just reinforces feelings of failure and inadequacy. Instead, build routines that feel supportive and nurturing, not punishing. Start by identifying when you have the most natural energy for different types of tasks. Are you sharper and more focused in the morning? Do you have more creative energy in the evening? Honor your natural rhythms when designing your routines rather than fighting against them. Next, create simple if-then plans that connect actions to specific triggers. For example, if I've finished breakfast, then I'll spend 15 minutes on my most important task of the day. Or, if I'm feeling resistance to starting, then I'll set a timer for just 5 minutes of work. Bookending is another powerful routine strategy. This involves creating brief routines that signal the beginning and end of work sessions. A starting routine might include clearing your workspace, taking 3 deep breaths, and stating your intention for the session. An ending routine might include noting what you accomplished, deciding when you'll next work on the task, and taking a moment to appreciate your effort. Remember that consistency matters more than perfection when it comes to routines. It's better to have a modest routine that you actually follow than an ideal one that exists only on paper. Start small, build gradually, and adjust as needed based on what's working for you. Routines create a container of structure and predictability that makes action more likely. Within this container, you'll find greater freedom and creativity because your energy isn't being drained by constant decision-making and resistance. Your imagination is one of the most powerful tools you have for overcoming procrastination. When you vividly imagine yourself taking action with ease and joy, you create a blueprint that your mind and body naturally want to follow. Visualization works because your brain doesn't fully distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. When you imagine yourself moving through a task with confidence and enjoyment, your brain forms neural pathways similar to those it would create if you were actually having that experience. These pathways then make the real action feel more familiar and accessible. Let me guide you through a simple but powerful visualization practice for overcoming procrastination. Find a comfortable, quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take several deep, relaxing breaths, allowing your body to settle and your mind to become receptive. Now, imagine yourself approaching the task you've been putting off. See yourself in as much detail as possible: what you're wearing, how you're standing or sitting, the expression on your face. Make this image vivid and realistic. In this visualization, see yourself beginning the task with a sense of calm confidence. There's no struggle, no resistance, just a natural flow of action. Notice how your body feels relaxed yet energized. Your breathing is deep and even. Your mind is clear and focused. Imagine yourself moving through each step of the task with ease. If you encounter any challenges, see yourself responding to them with creativity and resilience, finding solutions that work well. Feel the satisfaction that comes with making progress, the sense of accomplishment as you move forward. Now visualize yourself completing the task. See the finished result clearly. Allow yourself to feel the genuine pleasure and pride of having followed through. Imagine how it feels in your body to have this task completed, the lightness, the relief. the confidence that comes from knowing you can do what you set out to do. Finally, see yourself moving on to the rest of your day, carrying this sense of accomplishment with you. Notice how completing this task positively affects other areas of your life, your mood, your energy, your relationships. Take a few more deep breaths, allowing this entire successful experience to embed itself in your consciousness. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes, carrying the energy and emotion of this visualization with you. One reason we procrastinate is that we've lost emotional connection to why our tasks matter. When we focus only on the obligation aspect, the should or must, we disconnect from the deeper values and desires that could motivate us. Take a moment now to think about a task you've been avoiding. Instead of focusing on the task itself, connect with why it ultimately matters to you. How does this task align with your values? How might completing it contribute to a life you feel good about? What positive difference might it make for you or others? For example, if you've been putting off organizing your finances, the deeper value might be creating security for yourself and your loved ones, or gaining the peace of mind that comes with knowing where you stand financially. If you've been procrastinating on a work project, the value might be creating something you're proud of, or helping your team succeed, or expressing your unique skills and perspective. When you connect emotionally to these deeper motivations, taking action becomes more meaningful and compelling. You're no longer just checking something off a list. You're living your values and creating a life that aligns with what truly matters to you. Another powerful way to connect emotionally to your tasks is to imagine how you'll feel once they're completed. Really allow yourself to feel in advance the relief, satisfaction, pride, or peace that will come with completion. This positive emotional forecast can provide the energy you need to get started. For tasks that seem to have no inherent emotional reward, you can create meaningful connections. For instance, perhaps completing a mundane administrative task allows you to better serve people who matter to you. Or maybe tackling an unpleasant chore is an act of self-care because it creates a more pleasant environment for you to live in. Remember that emotions are fuel for action. When you find or create positive emotional connections to your tasks, you tap into a powerful source of motivation that can help you overcome procrastination. Beyond visualizing specific tasks, it's powerful to develop an overall mental blueprint of yourself as someone who takes timely, effective action. This blueprint becomes a new self-image that gradually replaces the old self-concept of "I'm a procrastinator" or "I always wait until the last minute." Close your eyes and imagine the version of yourself who has moved beyond procrastination. See this version of you approaching tasks with confidence and ease. Notice how this version of you organizes their time, breaks down complex projects, and takes consistent action without drama or delay. What qualities does this version of you embody? Perhaps there's calm focus, joyful productivity, steady persistence, or creative problem solving. Whatever these qualities are, see them clearly and feel what it's like to embody them. Now imagine this version of you moving through a typical day. See how they begin their morning, approach their work, interact with others, and care for themselves. Notice the habits and routines that support their effectiveness and well-being. This mental blueprint isn't about creating an unrealistic ideal. The person you're imagining still has challenges and imperfections. just like everyone. The difference is in how they respond to these challenges, with resilience, self-compassion, and a commitment to moving forward despite obstacles. Spend time with this vision regularly, perhaps as part of your morning or evening routine. The more familiar and detailed this mental blueprint becomes, the more naturally you'll begin to align with it in your daily life. Remember that you are not fixed or defined by your past patterns. You are a growing, evolving being who is capable of change at any age and at any stage of life. This new blueprint gives your mind and heart a clear direction for that growth and evolution. We've covered so much together on this journey of overcoming procrastination with love. We've explored the emotional roots of procrastination, the power of forgiveness, new thought patterns, the wisdom of your body, mirror work, loving action plans, and the power of visualization. Now it's time to bring all these elements together into a cohesive approach that you can use in your daily life. Integration happens when you don't just understand these principles intellectually, but begin to embody them in your everyday choices and actions. It's about weaving together the various practices and insights into a new way of being that feels authentic and supportive. Start by choosing just one or two practices that resonated most strongly with you. Perhaps it's the mirror work, or the tiny steps approach, or the affirmations. Begin incorporating these into your life consistently, allowing them to become familiar and comfortable before adding more. As you practice, notice what works best for you and adapt accordingly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to overcoming procrastination. The practices I've shared are like ingredients in a meal. You can adjust the proportions and combinations to create the flavor that nourishes you best. Be patient with yourself as you integrate these new ways of being. Old patterns don't disappear overnight, and there will likely be times when you slip back into procrastination. When this happens, it's not a failure. It's simply an opportunity to practice self-compassion and to recommit to your new path. Remember that integration is not about perfection, but about direction. Are you moving overall toward greater ease and effectiveness in taking action? Are you treating yourself with more kindness and understanding in the process? If so, you're succeeding, regardless of how many perfect days you have. The ultimate integration happens when these practices no longer feel like something you're doing, but simply become who you are. Someone who approaches tasks with love, takes action with ease, and treats themselves with compassion throughout the process. As we prepare to complete our time together, I want to offer you a powerful affirmation practice that brings together many of the principles we've explored. This practice can serve as a daily touchstone as you continue your journey beyond procrastination. Find a quiet, comfortable place where you can be fully present. You might want to place your hand on your heart as you speak these words, either silently or aloud. I am growing into a new relationship with action and productivity. Each day I take small steps forward with love and ease. I forgive myself for past patterns of delay and avoidance, knowing they were my best attempt to meet my needs at the time. I now choose to meet my needs in ways that support my highest good. I listen to my body's wisdom, honoring its need for rest and nourishment. I speak to myself with kindness and encouragement. I celebrate each step I take, no matter how small it may seem. I am developing new pathways in my mind and new patterns in my life. I release the identity of being a procrastinator and embrace the truth that I am capable of timely, effective action. I trust the process of change and give myself permission to grow at my own pace. Today, I commit to one small step forward. I am enough exactly as I am, and I am becoming more of who I truly want to be. And so it is. Feel these words resonating in your heart and body. Let them soak into your consciousness, reinforcing your commitment to this new way of being. As we come to the end of our journey together, I invite you to decide on one small step you will take today to begin moving beyond procrastination. This step should be so small and specific that it feels almost impossible not to do it. Perhaps it's setting a timer for just 5 minutes to work on a task you've been avoiding. Maybe it's writing down 3 affirmations that you'll place where you'll see them regularly. Or it could be scheduling a specific time tomorrow for your first mirror work practice. Whatever step you choose, make a clear, specific commitment to yourself about when and how you'll take it. Say to yourself, "Today, I will your small step at specific time." Feel the power of this simple commitment. Remember that transformation happens one small step at a time. You don't need to overhaul your entire life at once. You simply need to begin moving in the direction you want to go, with love and self-compassion as your companions on the journey. I believe in you completely. I know that within you is everything you need to overcome procrastination and create a life of joyful, purposeful action. The path may not always be straight or smooth, but with each loving step you take, you build momentum toward the life and way of being you desire. Thank you for joining me on this journey. It has been an honor to share these teachings with you. Know that wherever you go from here, you carry within you the power to choose love over fear, action over avoidance, and kindness over criticism. That power is who you truly are. As we complete our time together, I want to leave you with some final thoughts about your journey beyond procrastination. This isn't the end. It's really just the beginning of a new way of relating to action, time, and yourself. Remember that transformation is rarely a straight line. There will likely be days when you flow easily and effortlessly, taking action with joy and confidence. There will also be days when old patterns resurface and procrastination feels strong. Both kinds of days are part of the journey, and both offer opportunities for growth and learning. On the days when things flow well, notice what conditions supported that flow. Was it how you spoke to yourself? How you structured your environment? The way you connected emotionally to your tasks? These observations help you recreate conditions that support your success. On the days when procrastination returns, practice compassionate curiosity rather than judgment. Ask yourself gently, what's happening here? What am I feeling or needing right now? Then respond to yourself with understanding and appropriate care, just as you would to a dear friend who was struggling. Trust the process of growth and change. Your mind has incredible neuroplasticity, the ability to form new neural pathways and patterns throughout your entire life. Each time you choose a new thought or action, you strengthen these new pathways. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes your new normal. Stay connected to community and support on your journey. Share what you're learning with trusted friends. Join groups focused on positive change. Or work with coaches or counselors who can provide guidance and accountability. We aren't meant to transform in isolation. We grow best in supportive connection with others. Finally, celebrate your journey. Acknowledge every step forward, every insight gained, every moment of choosing love over fear. These celebrations aren't just nice additions to the process. They're essential fuel for continued growth and change. You have everything you need within you to move beyond procrastination and create a life of meaningful, joyful action. Your awareness, your willingness to grow, your capacity for self-compassion. These are powerful forces for transformation. I am so proud of you for engaging with this work, for being willing to look honestly at your patterns and to choose a new path. That willingness is the foundation of all positive change, and it's evidence of your courage and commitment to your own growth. Remember, dear one, that you are not defined by your past patterns. You are a constantly evolving being with the power to choose differently in each new moment. And as you make these new choices with love and compassion, you not only transform your own experience, but contribute to the healing of our world. Thank you for walking this path with me. I believe in you completely and unconditionally. Now go forward and take that one small step, and then another and another, into the life of ease, joy, and fulfillment that awaits you beyond procrastination.